Hello, chat. Hi. So, if you're so for those that weren't aware, I'm at my parents' house right now. That's my dad. You knew it wasn't me playing that instrument because I can't play instruments for shit. My dad can, though. So hi, chat, hello. Tonight, I'm going to be streaming with my dad, as well as, Viridian. Say hi, Viridian.
Hi.
Say it again, Viridian?
I said hi. Is my mic not working again?
I hear it.
Alright. I've been having an issue with it lately, having inconsistent, volumes, and I don't know why.
And we also have... And let me boost the volume up a bit. And we also have Popcorn. Say hi, Popcorn.
Hey guys, how's it go?
Yeah, sorry, this isn't my normal setup. So if it sounds a little weird, I'm basically having to work with my dad's setup, which wasn't designed for this at all. We are also joined by Swift in chat and by a doggo.
Come here, boo boo.
And a mischievous black cat who is not on camera because he is sitting on my bed.
And I don't have any pets because I'm in college.
Yeah, I am sorry about the volume differences. There's not much I can do about it.
Well, you're not in Harvard and a rich blonde girl. That's why you don't have a pet in college.
So tonight, we are going to be reading in honor of Valentine's Day. We are going to be reading a Twilight fanfiction with my dad.
Oh, goody.
That isn't Masters of the Universe, thankfully.
Boon!
So we are reading something called The Temptation of Edward Cullen. I don't know anything about this, but we do have a bit of an intro. So here's the intro. Here's a repost. The famous fanfic Forbidden Fruit, The Temptation of Edward Cullen, written by someone named Becky Max666, who may or may not be Tara Gillespie in disguise. Which, if you read the description, is about a Mary Sue. Shocking, I know. I never would have thought I'd see a bigger Mary Sue than Bella. Coming to Forks and falling in love with Deadward. Like many other fiction...
Deadward? That's his name?
No, it's like the insulting way of saying Edward.
Oh.
Because he's a vampire.
Right.
Either that or...
I get the feeling this entire story is written through a thick veil of sarcasm.
Shovelface also works very well for Edward.
I was just called Bella
It has
Suicide
bad
Girl.
spelling, purple prose, lots of other bullshit. So, and just a little heads up, because of time zone issues, I wanted to start the stream at the same time, but because of that, it means we're going to have a short break so my dad and I can eat food.
That's fair.
What time zone are you in currently?
We're currently in Mountain.
Like me!
Oh, where are you?
Me, I'm just outside Denver.
Oh.
Where I'm on my lunch because it's like 4 p.m. right now, so I'm having a late lunch.
Yeah,
Where are you?
Washington.
Not Washington, D.C., Washington, the state.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, obviously it's not D.C. if I said it's like 4.
I don't know, you could be a time traveler. We don't know. So let's get started.
Don't break the masquerade. You know better than to tell them about my time in Russia.
Okay, so for a little bit of context, I was the one who posted this in the request channel. I found it because, I don't know, I guess one day I was just looking at the TV tropes page for My Immortal, and this was kind of described as the Twilight version of My Immortal, hence the comparison to Tara Gillespie, who is the author of My Immortal. For the uninitiated.
Before we get going. Oh. Alright, that's a bit better. Dad, do be careful not to scream their ears off.
If I move the mic away, that should help. You said mine's louder, right?
Yeah, yours is louder.
Is that okay from about here?
I think sounds about balanced to me.
Okay.
Alright, good. And for the record,
the difference is his doesn't have a dampener like yours does. That's why it sounds different.
Mine is optimized for guitar.
That's fair.
Yeah, and for the record, part of the reason why it is the way it is right now is otherwise it would sound like this, where I am in one ear
and I'm in the other.
Yeah.
Hey, this ear is dirty.
So yeah, I'm down mixing to I'm down mixing. So it's only coming in through one.
Yeah, you're modifying the sound input so it comes out as a mono rather than a stereo output, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, so let's get this started. Who wants to be the... Dad, alright, Dad, I want you to be the narrator, and I want you to be the imagine like a really goth teenager that doesn't really understand what goth is.
Oh no.
Like the narrator on Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
So this is going to be like the goth version of Jack Black playing a teenage girl in the Jumanji sequel.
Yeah, just imagine you are a teenage girl who is super goth, but her parents drive her to Hot Topic.
So
can you do that?
Question.
Sure.
Who's playing Wolf Boy and who's playing Deadface?
I'll play Edward.
I'll do Wolf Boy. Who's Popcorn doing?
Popcorn, you can be the protagonist.
Okay, cool.
Alright, you ready, Dad?
I'm
Sure.
the cis girl.
You're reading from you're reading this section here, all the way down to chapter 1. So basically everything that's like the author.
Hey guys, this is a new improved version of my story. Previous chapter 1. Hold on.
No, Dad, no.
Okay, I'll start again.
Yeah.
And hey guys, this is a new improved version of my story. Hope it's better this time. Can't be any worse. By the way, I am young and have dyslexia. I find spelling hard, and it's meant to be unformal. Okay? No criticism, please. You don't like it, leave. This story goes out out to my best friend Zach. Kisses. And my best friend Tiffy. Love you, girl. Edward is our god. We want to have sex.
No. Read it as it says.
We want sex.
No. We want a sex.
Sex is a verb?
It can be.
Okay, we want to sex him good. Love and bloody Becca Mac. Is this lady a necrophiliac?
I mean, she wants to fuck Edward, so...
I guess she must be.
Update.
Don't forget the update.
I have a proofreader who's an idiot. I have a proofreader, and I had cleaned up the spelling and grammar on this chapter a hell of a lot, as you will see. Thank you, Vicky. I will be improving the next chapters soon.
Don't quit your day job.
Okay. I have dyslexia, and my fanfic has some spelling issues because of the whole dyslexia issue.
Right.
I can spell fucking chapter!
Alright,
But yeah, can I just... So yeah, for the record, Twilight is basically one girl's struggle to pick between necrophilia and bestiality.
I actually did...
the normal guy.
Yeah!
I did see the first Twilight movie with my daughter. We were laughing so hard I can't even remember the plot.
Yeah.
Of course, it wasn't much of a plot.
So,
Not really.
Dad, do you want to be the narrator? I mean,
Sure.
All right. So, we'll split. We'll between us. We'll both do the narrator, but
Okay.
Popcorn is voicing the actual character lines.
Okay.
Spaz, I just want to say something right off the bat looking at the very first sentence here. I hate this author so much from that name.
Well, you're missing something important here. The first line is, "Hey, my name's Atlantia Rebecca Lauren." Really, this is a story about a schizophrenic person. That's 3 characters.
Okay.
Swift,
Hi,
nice one.
my name's Atlantiana. Yeah, Atlantiana Rebecca Lauren, but everyone calls me Tina or just plain Tia. I am a 16-year-old girl, and I live in Forks, Washington. My hair is long and pale like spun gold, and skims to my waist like a pale shimmering amber mist. My eyes are deep forget-me-not blue. Oh, I know. She was trying to say forget-me-not, but it came out as forget-me-not.
Forget-me-no.
Forget-me-no. Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
that's not forget-me-not. That's forget-me-no.
And a deep forget-me-no. Who's Minnow? We don't talk about
She
Minnow.
has teeth problems. Look at the next half of the next sentence.
Well, hang on. Don't read ahead.
Oh, sorry.
We don't talk about Minnow.
Oh. And my delicate features are...
It's not features. Read what's there.
My delicate ventures... My delicate ventures are lily white and pure as the winter snow in moonlight. I've been told by loads of sleazy, ugly, horny guys that I'm really pretty and look like a model or a bunny girl. Some of the guys who like me are really old and try to make up with me. It's disgusting and weird. But basically, a lot of girls I meet tell a different story. They say I'm too ivory white and ethereal, I'm too skinny, and I look anorexic, which I don't care about, but I think it's seriously disrespectful to people with real eating disorders. By the way, I'm totally not anorexic. I eat loads and never gain weight, and I'm not thin enough to be anorexic anyways. I think they're all just being biatches, especially the ratty brain called Ellie Mayfair, who I hope fucking dies in pain with shit on her face. Oh, sorry, I'm not such a I'm not such a batch, but she's so horrible. If you met her, you'd think the same.
Wow.
How much of that was one sentence?
Hang on, let's see here.
Periods are expensive, you know.
There's 2 commas. And
We
let's
can't-
see here. They to
So,
face.
wow.
They to shut in your face is the entire sentence. Like if you highlight, they say, and then stop at right before sorry. Highlight that, and you will see how long that sentence is. Just show it to the
Dad,
viewers.
you sure you don't want alcohol?
I'll wait till dinner.
Oh,
But
boy.
yeah,
But-
yeah,
So,
that
yeah.
is 3 sentences that are 1 sentence.
Yeah, and so here we are. We're once again starting off with the character the main character just going way too in depth about how they look. So yeah, this is the Twilight version of My Immortal.
Anyways, I am quite tall and slim, but with really big boobs that I used to hate because they look noticeable on my slender body and draw too much attention. But I like them and don't care who stares at me.
She likes them?
Well, yeah, she likes her boobs.
Why do I get the feeling this is written by either a girl raised by a guy or by a guy?
I walked boobily down the stairs. Alright, remember, whenever she remember everyone, if she starts mentioning her boobs a lot, it becomes a drinking game.
I can't drink. I'm doing deliveries tonight.
Oh,
I'm
no,
going to
Swift.
drink.
Swift, I can answer that. What human females actually likes her boobs? I'll tell you. The ones that don't have huge ones.
Yeah. Spaz, since I can't do alcohol since I'm gonna do Uber eating with my roommate later, can I use an energy drink for shots?
Only if you don't vibrate and create a new form of energy from it.
I'm I'm just drinking water.
Don't worry about it. I chug these things 1 can a day, so it's like I'm still on my first can.
See, Dad, I'm not that bad.
I'm just drinking water, but it's just as painful because I had too much sour candy and my tongue hurts so much.
Oh god, be glad you didn't do what I did the one time where I kept eating lemon heads back to back and burned a hole on my tongue and the top of my mouth.
Oh Lord!
Because there's so much acid in those things if you just keep chain eating them that I had to not touch. I had to force myself not to touch them because they just did this burn mark down my tongue.
Damn, girl!
I have a lip ring and recently put black and indigo and magenta streaks in my long, pale blonde hair. I like mint and cinnamon. I wear mostly black and hot pink and deep purple and neon blue and listen to cool music.
All
Like
the
Surfing Bird.
Small things. All the small things. All the... Okay, I'm done.
I smell like mint and cinnamon. Is she trying to scare people away?
That's kind of an odd combination.
Yeah.
I use essential oils.
I bathe in essential oils. I don't use water and soap. That's for losers.
Oh god, this is reminding me of SLC Punk. Because there's a point where she points out how his overemphasis on punk attire is him wearing a uniform and trying too hard. This is reminding me of that. It's like, hun, you can like the goth aesthetic, you don't have to go full Hot Topic. Never go full Hot Topic. Especially modern Hot Topic.
There we go. Sorry, I forgot to update the text on the top.
No problem. That's him, officer. That's the horny.
Alright, Dad, do you want to read the next paragraph?
I'm just gobstopped at the lead sentence to the paragraph after that.
I believe...
I'm just hearing on the correct...
Okay, I'll read the paragraph. It is my...
Sorry, go ahead.
It is my first day at school at Forks, and I really like kindergarten. It is my first day at school in Forks, and I just moved here to live with my new foster parents, Dave and Marie. So that
Dave and Buster.
That would be amazing.
they
Also, nice capitalizing there, so it looks like you brought forks to school.
I'm going to school dressed in a dress made of forks.
I'm going to school in a cupboard with forks.
they are nice and all, very. I think the story has great depth. Very whole. Some sweet people, but it is not like having a real family.
I'm just imagining now that her parents are like Silent Hill abominations covered in holes to trigger people with trichtophobia, I think it is. Where
Something
your
like
fear of
yeah.
regular holes.
Oh, could be. I've been hurt too many times. Oh, too many times. Am I supposed to correct this as I read?
No?
No.
I've been
It's gonna
hurt.
hurt you.
I've been hurt too many times to let people close to me, and I don't ever talk to them very real. Mom died. What? I don't talk to them very real. Mom died when I was born, and I never knew my real dad. I sometimes wonder what he is like, and if I will ever get to meet him. Don't you have to meet him before you've met him? Oh, never mind. Dave gave me a ride to school, and I smiled faintly as he wished me good luck. And I got out of the car and went to school
With the forks.
with the forks. Loads of people freaking stared at me as I walked down the hall because I was wearing nothing but forks.
I put my middle finger up at them.
I was wearing tight black leather pants with silver chains at the...
Welcome to the stupid Archon of Fate.
silver chains at the waist and a red fishnet-like top, and you could see my black lacy bra through it. I ignored whispers and the pink cheerleader
And the big pink cheerleader.
and the big pink cheerleader, I'm Bossels, pointing at me. I was used to it, and I paid no attention to the guys asking desperately for my number Like hell, I'd even look at the horny little donkeys. And told a ditzy blonde cheerleader named called Jessica to STFU when she called me a freak.
Yeah, no, she's only called Jessica. That isn't actually her name. It's the same thing as, like, Chad's. You ever hear of that?
Wait a minute. No, Jessica is an actual character in Twilight. She's a... I forget what the actress's name. Anna Kendrick. She's played by Anna Kendrick.
Wait, is she a cheerleader?
Yeah.
I don't recall her cheerleading, at least not in the movies.
I just know she's a cheerleader because my friend's mom was obsessed with this when it came out, and she told us, like, the whole backstory leading up to the movie. Also, I just looked it up. Forks, Washington is a real place, and
Yes, it
I
is.
realized why it was chosen for the original Twilight novel. Because the moment I bring it up on Google Maps, giant on the screen, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Uh-huh.
Mormons.
It's one of the few areas in the state Mormons have a foothold.
Stephanie Meyer. She be Mormon.
Also, there's a museum called Forever Twilight in Forks in Forks Collection.
Yeah.
Forks Timber Museum. Wow, there's nothing here. Holy crap.
Okay.
Okay. Next time she tries anything, I'll hit her in the eye because I can find it. Sorry. I'll hit her in the eye because no one messes with me anymore. Oh, she's Mr. Spock. Leonard D. My first day, I was...
I believe in you, Dad. You can do this.
My first day. She's an electrical engineer. My first day, I was a relay board. I sat gazing out of the window into the gray, cloud-embittered sky for most of the morning. My teachers looked at me all disapprovable.
No, all. Just looked at me disapprovable.
Sorry, disapprovable, right. But said nothing because they probably knew I was a foster kid and a gothic and didn't want to upset me in case I cut them up as they slept. In class?
All right, given that this is mostly narration, do either of you want to pick this up?
Yeah, I want to hear about how your ears are like Swiss cheese now.
I got one. So she's apparently a building dressed in forks.
She is a building dressed in forks that relays electrical signals.
Because as a former drafter, goth is a clothing style. Gothic is a building style.
Alright, this makes sense. This makes sense. So her first day, she was an electrical relay station that was based around the visual style of a gothic
fishnet
fork.
top because she didn't want people looking at her.
Yeah. She's being renovated, so she has that somewhat transparent top over her.
She's just her blouse is like a stone wall.
Alright,
got like
so who wants to read
gargoyles
the next
hanging from
paragraph?
her head.
Who wants to read the next paragraph?
Well, I actually do have a line coming up. Eventually.
That's all right. You can read the paragraph anyway.
I got it. I'll do this part.
Okay.
Just give me a second. My
She has
ears
to-
are pierced. Oh god, this is gonna hurt me. My ears are pierced 4 times. I have a tattoo of a scorpion, like S, my birth sign, on my ankle, and gothic cross on my shoulder. And my hand, I have... Did she just use and 3 times?
Yes.
And the
And
problem?
on my hand, I have a weird birthmark in the shape of a 7-pointed star that I've had all my life. You're probably wondering why I'm bothering to tell you all this. Why?
You're right about that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I am no ordinary 16-year-old girl.
We knew that. You were a relay.
Can I just add something really quick? When I have a tattoo of a scorpion, like as on my birth sign, I'm just imagining that the tattoo artist misunderstood her and they actually drew Trogdor. And that won't make any sense.
This always
Well,
bugs me when people are like teenagers having tattoos. Outside of very rare exceptions, even with parental consent, tattoo artists usually will not tattoo minors. They'll straight up refuse to because of the whole still growing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, having 2, I'm calling bullshit. Especially if you're 16, 17, maybe I could see someone.
You know what? Actually, no. It's actually like a water tattoo.
Temporary tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she went into the
probably.
She went into the tattoo parlor. Like, oh, don't worry, guys, I got this. Got like one of those pies. I just slapped it on, and she slapped it on really hard, so it hurt. Peeled it. I was like, there, I'm done. Oh wow, thank you. I can't wait to show this to my parents and upset them. I'm sure you will, honey. Oh, and you can hear my dogs in the background.
Yep.
Alright, wait, where was I? Oh god. I am about to dyslexic this dyslexic person's writing because of how bad it is. And Spaz will tell you how bad my dyslexia is. It was so bad one time I completely misread a sentence, but somehow kept the entire point of the sentence.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That takes skill.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see, where was I? 16.
You've got a dark and forbidden secret.
Okay.
Which?
I have a secret. A dark and forbidden secret. Which I am For a minute there, I thought this was going to be interesting, and that she was a secret witch.
Yeah, she has a dark and forbidden secret witch
In her closet.
Yeah, no. She has
And
a
her
secret. It's
wrapped around her big tits.
She has a secret ham and cheese witch hidden within her fridge that
Hey,
no
I
one
want
but
a
her
ham
can eat.
and cheese witch. I want a ham and cheese witch. She summons ham and cheese sandwiches whenever you're hungry.
That would get pretty old pretty fast though.
Yeah, I'm only beginning to understand. When I sleep, I hear whispers in another language, and even though I understand them at the time, when I wake up, I can't remember it.
She is schizophrenic.
Yeah, I also see weird faces in my dreams that fade into nothingness. When I open my eyes, I swear out of the corner of my eye, my birthmark glows. Shocking bright gold, and gets really hot.
No, it gets relay hot.
I see
It makes sense. She's a relay building.
I see weird faces in my dreams too. You're not special.
I predict the future in my dreams. You're not special. Like, this character thinks she's special. I'm like, I predicted my own car accident on 3 occasions. I don't think you're special, honey. It gets really hot sometimes, but I look properly at it. Oh god. When I look properly, it is back to normal scar color.
Boarding scar color.
Boarding scar color. I thought I was misreading that. No, that's actually what's written there. Oh god. I am really graceful, like the running antelopes, and I run very fast and am stronger and faster than most people.
Anti-elope. Is that what happens when people who elope get a divorce?
That's a full point.
No, it's what happens when you decapitate an antelope.
Yeah, it's an antelope. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the headless slope. When, I used to think I was relay athletic, but now I'm not so sure. I think there might be something else at work, something so much more mysterious. Yeah, that is spelled right. Mysterious and eerie.
Just looking for misspellings.
EIR?
I'm trying to make sure I'm reading, because my vision is correcting some of her language, and I'm trying to make sure I'm reading it properly.
You're so dyslexic, you're fixing it.
Yeah. The truth hovers so softly on the brink of my memory, sometimes, but if only I could remember the weird things that clung to the edge of my mind as I slept. Why are you yelling this entire conversation when this should be periods, not exclamation points?
Tell me about it.
Well, she's trying to communicate with people outside the story, so she thinks she has to be really loud so we can hear.
She's a building. She has to shout because the windows are closed.
Yeah, that's fair.
Popcorn, this one's you.
Okay. All right. At lunch, I sat alone in the corner and scanned the cafeteria quietly with my eyes smoldering dark blue beneath my long black lashes and my slim thighs curled under me. Who sits like that?
That sounds really painful.
What kind of chunky thighs you got, girl?
Well, no, I get what you mean. She's basically sitting on her knees on the chair. I do that.
I mean, I do
but
too, but
curled?
but my thighs aren't the ones that curl.
That's
Calves
true.
are. My calves are. Anywho,
Yeah, your thighs curling would basically mean you've gotten a broken thigh bone.
I'm just imagining like a really distorted model in Gary's mod or some video game where it glitches out and like the limbs are like stretched really oddly because of coders.
Ooh, that sounds really sick. I'm gonna have nightmares tonight.
You are dead.
all right. It was the N. I noticed an unbelievably jaw-droopingly hot what? Like seriously, I honestly read that as what when I was first looking at this paragraph. This hot dude with tusseted blondie brown hair, golden yellow eyes like wells of hot caramel, and pale sexy features. He was a tall and muscle.
Oh, it's SpongeBob.
No, the spider's a spider. No, this is just like a little clam, Edward the clam.
He was a tall muscle, and looked like he was wearing eyeliner. And my body got hot and cold all at once as I looked at him. I've never felt this way about anyone before, and I totally never felt this weird feeling that I'd met someone before, but I had no idea where, and I knew it wasn't passable because I'd freaking remember someone that hot. A girl sat next to him with long brown hair with her arms dripped over him like a freaking flesh-eating plant, so I thought, well, whatever, has taken. She wasn't nearly as hot as he was. She wasn't ugly, though. I figured I was maybe prettier than her. I never really saw myself as beautiful, but I'd guessed from things others had said. Plus, this girl wasn't great looking, but anyways, I never tried to pilch with another girl's BF, because that's just low. Commas, how do they work? So I got up to leave the hall thinking I'd go and smoke some bald drugs.
Now wait a second. We gotta stop right here. Since this household is entirely bald, I want to know all about these bald drugs.
Yeah, excuse me.
All right, now are these branded bald? Do they make you bald?
No. What they do is they take the head of a recently deceased bald person, shrink it down to a shrunken head. Then you cut off pieces of it and stick it in a pot grinder, grind it up, and then stick it in your pipe.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
All right.
My dad doesn't really care what happens to him when he dies. So maybe instead of
Are you
silence,
kidding? This is like beef jerky.
yeah, we could turn you into beef jerky
Smoked
and turn you into
beef
bald
jerky.
drugs.
You know, the funny thing is, if you actually got a will that legally attested you wanted to be turned into jerky, they technically could do it, and it's illegal cannibalism.
Smoke
Yeah, good luck
weed
finding a
every day.
funeral home willing to do it.
Go to Oregon. Not Oregon, Colorado. Colorado has one of the most open... there's one area in Colorado that has one of the most open series of funeral rites, even things like pyre burnings and stuff. So you could get away with a lot of crap out there.
Oh, Dad,
geez,
I have something to
I've been
admit to
living here
you. I've been losing my hair, but not because of genetics, because I've been taking bald drugs.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Anti-minoxidil.
Yeah.
So that's what happened to a collection of bald people.
If I stop smoking drugs, then everything might be alright. The Dear Evan Hansen movie still sucks. Okay. Thinking I'd go and smoke some bald drugs in the locker room while no one was there. As I waked over to he exit, I couldn't help but notice the hot, pale guy's musky eyes as they met mine. Musky eyes? I've never heard eyes described that way. I locked away hurriedly. I smoked dope in the locker room for a bit, then I wandered to my next class. I bumped into someone in the corridor, and my box fell everywhere.
It's really awful when your box fall.
My box full of forks. Frick! 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 What the heck? I screamed loudly. Watch where you're freaking going, you asshole! I have anger problems.
That pause is perfect.
I can't possibly read the next sentence because I don't know how to make my voice sound like wet heaven. It sounds really disgusting.
Alright, I'll do it.
I'm so sorry.
That sounds like wet heaven to you?
It does to her.
I honestly thought you were gonna go with Garfield.
Oh yeah, no, I can do that. I'm so sorry.
He said in a voice like wet heaven.
Please forgive me, my lady.
It was a hot, pale guy. Hot,
My lady.
pale guy.
My lady. Taps Fedora.
Oh my god.
Okay, the next chapter looks
Chapter
a little
1.
shorter.
So, is that a real name? Atlantiana?
It is now.
No.
It sounds like just a Mary Sue interpretation of Atlanta.
It sounds like a Mary Sue interpretation of Atalanta, but it sounds like basically, you know, when white people try to make jokes about certain African American names.
Yeah.
It sounds like that. It sounds like they're making up one of those names and doing it seriously, where usually it's just a person making a rather racist, tasteless joke.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's literally what it sounds like to me. It sounds like when I heard a white woman going in a racist rant about LaQuisha. And I was like...
Oh, good one,
Yeah, because
Swift.
that was the name they made up. The name the white person started screaming was LaQuisha, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure her name is not LaQuisha. I'm pretty sure you just made that up.
Swift made a pretty sick burn, though. But
It's
okay.
special white name. Oh yeah, it's a special white name, like Renesmee.
Hang on. Let me do the pronunciation.
Right.
It's Bishu.
Renesmee. Who names their child Renesmee? Stephanie Meyer.
Unfortunately, after the book came out, several.
Yeah.
Well, that's better than the one kid named Dovahkiin because of a bet by Bethesda.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. After Skyrim came out, somebody bet Bethesda that they would name their child Dovahkiin in relation to Skyrim in order to get a free copy of the game.
You got it slightly backwards. Bethesda said they will give a free copy of the game
yeah.
and any of their future products to any parent who named their kid Dovahkiin.
And someone did it.
Thinking
my
no
God.
one would take them up on it. A pair of parents did.
You
Oh,
are
God.
made of stupid.
Yes.
Alright, we actually have some dialogue now.
Yeah. But first,
Alright.
some ands.
Dad, you're the author.
What is... Oh, Ian is announcer?
No, author's note.
Oh.
Yeah.
Vincent, or whatever your name is, thanks for the lame. Revau. You totally...
No, not totally.
You total... Thank you. No one is mackin'. You read this fic. If you don't like it, then leave.
Read.
Clustal Zodiac and Brittany J. Thanks for the advice on my character, but she's not a Mary Sue. She's not perfect. Look, she has anger problems, and she looks the way she does for a reason I will explain it as the story goes on.
Chapter 2. Edward.
Oh, so since this term is going to be coming up a lot in the story, let's clarify what we're using as a definition for Mary Sue, because for me, it's a character
Alright.
that the entire world revolves around, despite the fact it doesn't make any sense for them to revolve.
Okay, all right, yeah. Let's clarify this. So I encounter the term Mary Sue a lot, and I do want to be clear on this. So the best way I think you can define Mary Sue is based on the origin of Mary Sue, which is from a Star Trek fanzine parody of fan comics made around fan stories made around Star Trek. And Mary Sue is generally not only not necessarily just the center of the world, but they're loved by everyone. Everyone that doesn't like them are, of course, either misunderstanding the situation or evil. They are good at everything they do. They have flaws, but the flaws either only come up once or they aren't meaningful in the slightest.
Just inconsequential.
And the character is generally either a blank slate or very much a self-insert of another character. Of the writer, sorry.
Pretty much outside of the last part of being perfect at everything, that essentially is what I meant by the center of the universe revolves around them. And it wasn't from a fanzine. That actually was a story that was published. Where
it was.
OSP had literally an entire thing where she read the original story when discussing this term and pointed out how it was out of character for someone other than Kirk to sit in the captain's chair, but they all let her and then were approaching her. And this is why I like her definition of the world revolves around them even when it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
Because I write a character who is a demigoddess, but because she's descended from Medusa, she can, to a very cynical person, sound like a Mary Sue, but it's like, Medusa in the universe she's from, that I'm writing this in, is notoriously beautiful. And it's like, it's stated as a divine curse, her beauty. So it's like, it makes sense that her relative would have a similar issue where it's like, please stop staring at me, it's creeping me out.
And in the context of this, the reason why your character is being described as a Mary Sue so far, now of course, in a story like this character is not quite in Mary Sue territory yet, mainly because we haven't had much character interactions. But the reason why people were likely suspecting it was a Mary Sue is because a lot of attention was placed on the character's appearance and making the character look as hot as possible, while at the same time saying, "Oh, but she isn't she doesn't see herself as hot." She is super hot and has really big boobies and wears really revealing clothes. Oh no, she doesn't think too much about her appearance.
This is where I get mildly annoyed with fanfic writers when they spend so much emphasis on describing the characters. Unless your character has a very distinctive look, such as my character gaining scales and talons when she uses her actual divinity, don't focus on it. You can be vague about beauty and let the reader's interpretation fill it in if you give some details like hair color, rough height, rough muscle build, and stuff like that. You can let the readers fill in the details. You don't have to be dead set on perfect description.
Yeah, there's a fine balance when it comes to descriptions in a written format. Too little description and the reader has to fill in all the blanks themselves. Too much description and they can't really play along with it.
Yeah, and sometimes with the too little description, it can actually work in the story's favor if it makes sense. For example, I don't think any mortal would have a way to describe Persephone if they saw her. I have a feeling everyone would see the goddess differently.
Yeah.
So every time she does, I'm right. In one of the stories that the demigoddess is related to, we were dealing with Persephone, and Persephone, every time it's in her perspective, never describes what she looks like outside of when she goes into her demonic skeletal form. Other than that, she never describes it. No one ever, from any other point of view, describes what she looks like. They all just say she's really attractive or terrifying looking, specifically leaving it vague because she's a god.
Yeah.
The whole point is she's beyond description.
Yeah, and the best way to get something like that across is just to describe how you feel looking at them.
Exactly. And that's when too little description can be useful. But over description, unless you're writing Sherlock fucking Holmes or someone who's a very analytical, obsessive person,
I think over description is something that many new writers fall into. Not just necessarily with characters, but with just things in general. Not just over description, but they overly describe things they have a really good idea of in their head, but they never give the same. But they don't give the same treatment to other things. It's similar to how
This is basically pornography. We're just waiting for the big scene.
It reminds me when we were reading Empress Teresa, and Norman spent more time describing Teresa's wedding dress than the actual wedding.
yeah, it shows where the person it's that kind of discrepancy with descriptions that shows what the author is really interested in telling you, and if they don't do much, and it can show it can really highlight just you get where I'm coming from.
And I was guilty of this too. When I started that story I was telling you about, the first 10 chapters are very incomprehensible to read, and I openly acknowledge this because I didn't have a person helping me proofread, and I wasn't as good at writing as I was 2 years later when I finished the story. So it's like, I plan on going back and like editing these and fixing them, because it's like, some of the issues I'm seeing here are ones I did, but it's like, I didn't go into this level of fucking detail of description. That much I do know.
I just realized I made a mistake. I read ahead, and I'm regretting my decisions in life.
Oh boy.
Alright, so let's get started. Dad, do you want to be narration again?
The anger faded from my sapphire eyes.
Make up your mind what fucking color your eyes are. Either they're sapphire, they're deep blue, they're cool blue, or they're fucking emerald. Make
Your
up
eyes are not a
goddamn
mood
mind.
ring.
Sorry, the eye thing's just bugging me. It's like, make up your fucking mind. These are all different shades of blue.
Alright, so she said whatever.
I said
Whatever.
sweatily.
I didn't mean to yell and to be ride.
Thou art too beautiful for that.
He said, and for once I didn't feel...
Wait. Spaz, you misread that.
Thou.
Proactive-
Wait.
Proactive-
Thou. Oh, sorry.
Be-
Yeah. Thou art too beautiful for that.
he said. And for once I didn't feel like cock-dropping the guy for paying me a compliment.
Parliament.
She's compiling!
Instead, I just smiled.
I'm Edward Cullen.
Can't you learn your own damn name?
I'm Edward Cullen.
He murmured.
You are
He murmured.
Who are thee?
I'll continue, Lauren. But you can call me Tiana or Mabye Tia.
I said, feeling shy at the way he was looking at me. I had seen that look in so many male eyes, but never quite as intense or sexy bang. His eyes burned like hot... What?
Hot?
His eyes burned like hot gold velvet in the midday sun, like peonix feathers and rainbows, so gold and magical.
Is that what they're calling it now?
Peonix, yes.
We're going to Phoenix, Arizona.
Thou reminds me of bygone times.
He said, he said, carefully... he said, carefully retching out a shaking hand and brushing my cheek. Keep your vomit to yourself.
No means no.
You okay?
That's your line.
Okay. Thy face is like an old painting. Thou is exceptional. Exceptional.
Okay, I got a question. Is Edward Cullen played by the narrator of Persona? Thou art I art thou.
Yeah, seriously, he didn't talk like this in the movies.
I am ye olde vampire.
He vomited up a shaking hand.
Yeah, he vomited out. Was like,
Edward wasn't even alive when they had that like Edwardian style of speaking, if that was ever even a thing. He was dying during the Spanish flu.
Okay, for clarification, thou, thee, thy, that is all from a Shakespearean, and while it was used in letters between nobility, because Remember the whole cursive thing being a status symbol to use with quillmanship?
Uh-huh.
It wasn't spoken. The
Yeah.
only time it was spoken was for Shakespeare, and Shakespeare intentionally did it to make himself look snotty and uptight.
Oh my god, Hamlet, I just saw a vampire!
Yeah, but hold on. Shakespeare's characters never reached out a shaking hand.
Okay.
He vomited out jazz hands.
Hang on. Let's make a sound effect to the scene. Read the first line again, Eva. That reminds me of bygone times. Read that one real quick. I gotta.
That reminds me of bygone times.
He said, carefully retching out a shaking hand and pressing my cheek.
I must have not eat again at Taco
So here's what I'm
Bell.
picturing: is he opens his mouth, a hand comes out, brushes your cheek, then goes back down his throat like the alien.
Oh, what a poop.
How
It's gonna be a week
romantic!
before I can sleep again.
You're not so shanky yourself, but I couldn't help noticing you have a freaking GF, you ass. I saw you with her in the cafeteria.
Skanky.
I notched his hand hard with my long black nails.
What did?
Ooh, that sounds really painful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like she's like making like
Cutting a piece of flesh out of it.
the did notice me. Like,
He-
they did notice me then.
He purred with a sly grin. I was up against the wall with his face right close to me now. He wanted to sex me, I could tell. And suddenly he was kissing me.
I need an adult.
I
want
was like,
to die.
this slang sounds so familiar. And then I look at the published date, 2013, and I'm like, that sounds about right. I forgot sex was a verb for a while in the 2010s.
Will you
Yeah.
use sex with me?
Sex me, darling.
I felt like my slim legs would break in half and my heart expanded like a big balloon. Ooh, this sounds dangerous.
Yeah, that's so Jonathan Larson died.
And her heart grew 3 sizes that day, and then she
And then-
died because that is very deadly.
And then you just hear,
I felt his hand, the one from his mouth. I felt his hand sliding softly down my neck and underneath my top. He stoked He stoked
that
my
hand
breasts.
has a fire poker in it.
He stoked my breasts for a few minutes, and his man-made carrot standing in action as hard as a rock against my legs. They've got their clothes off in the school?
No, he just has it. His dick is just that big and hard.
And then he ripped my top and pulled it off me and doped it on the floor. More drugs.
No, doping fabric was what they did on airships and planes. So instead, he lacquered it so it's rain resistant.
more you know.
He's apparently carrying a can of doping.
The more you know.
We made out for 10 minutes, and then he tried to take of my bra. Oh, yes, taking of a bra. He tried to take of my bra, but I pushed him away, suddenly thinking, what the fuck? Tiara, are you just going to let this total stranger take your cloths off in school where anyone can see you? I'd never let a guy kiss me before or touch me, and suddenly I was letting this cheating sicko with a freaking GF grope me just because he was uber howit and with sexoy hair and cold as death. I was acting like a biatch and a slut, and I was suddenly very ashamed of my actions.
Hey, that's offensive. Vita would never do that.
She's not a biatch.
Vita's a biatch.
She's a
Damn.
bitch.
And a biatch.
Ugh.
Yeah, biatch is just a vernacular that was really popular in the 2010s.
Yeah.
Early
Biatch means
2010s,
bitch.
late 2000s. Late
Yeah.
2000s, early 2010s, it was a fancy way of saying bitch. It was biatch.
Yeah.
But this sounds very much like we're reading Ebony Darkness Brave a Dimensional Way again.
Yeah.
Because there's so many ebonics in this, and I'm like, this is written by a white person using ebonics. I know it. I can tell. I don't even need to see the writer. I can tell this is a white person using ebonics because they don't use it properly.
We were this close to Edward throwing his throbbing fork into her toolbox.
Honestly, the man-made carrot standing at attention, I'm like, why don't you just say I could feel the bulge in his pants? Like,
Because that isn't Purple Pro.
Alright. Bastard, never touch me again!
I gapsid.
so she's apparently got a gape.
If thou thinkst thou can keep thou hands of me.
He answered all smug, and I couldn't believe how he made me feel so angry and so aroused at the same time. At that moment, I never hated any boy more in my whole life, and the worst part of it was he was so freaking Howlett. I was totally creaming in my panties.
No, it was creaming my panties, not in my. Just creaming.
Oh, creaming my panties.
Yeah.
I'm finding it funny how explicit this is when it's rated under the T section of fanfiction.net. When it's like, yeah, this should be under the M section, not the T section.
Probably.
Oh no, who's Uncle Larry?
Oh.
Also, since this was also an annoying vernacular that I'm really glad died, it was hawked. You say it like you're saying hawk.
Okay.
Hawk.
That's actually a legitimate thing. Okay.
It was a stupid slang term that was very popular in inner city, but the thing is, you didn't. This is why I said I can tell this is a white person writing in Ebonics, because this is not white person slang you would hear in the suburbs. This was shit you heard in the inner city, where I grew up, so I heard this a lot. It's just like,
No,
a country person trying to sound like they were from the city.
Oh no, I saw HAWT used quite a lot when I was in high school.
I'd still
But did they actually say it out loud, or did they just write it?
They just wrote it. Yeah, they just wrote it.
I'd still rather read it like I'm Hank Hill, I tell you what.
That worked.
I tell you
emphasis
what.
put an H in there for some reason. Hot.
So yeah, who the hell is Uncle Larry?
Also, I love the fact that she's now walking around school bare-chested, because if he ripped her top off, that means it's broken and on the ground.
Are you wearing that backwards?
Mic on.
That's right.
Author's note. Hi guys, hope you like this one. I'm quite proud of it. I'm sorry, so sorry to hear that. Thanks for the supput. For my friends, love you girls. Glad you like it. Oh, and Vincent, you're so dumb. Of course Tia didn't go to math in only her bra. She's not a total ditz. One more time. Don't read if you didn't like it. No frickin' flames. What is the point of flamin' pupil if there's no point? So, F off.
Here, Percy Pones.
Prep, stop flaming.
Percy Pones, let me have a little word to you. You said he ripped her shirt off.
No.
That her shirt
Percy,
Okay. Percy Pons didn't write this. They just reposted it.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, this was written by Becky Mac 666.
All right, Becky Mac. Let me have a word here for you. If you use the term ripped, that implies destroyed. That implies cannot be put back on. What you mean is he lifted her shirt off, not ripped the shirt off. So of course the commenter makes fucking sense when asking, did she go to her math class in her bra?
No, I do want to. Yes, Percy is innocent. Free Percy. Do not shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
All right, I apologize, Percy. I apologize. Whoever fucking
Chapter
wrote this,
3.
learn the difference between
No,
Riffs.
Now we're on to Chapter 3.
Oh yeah, Chapter 3, Uncle Larry. And I'll read this one.
You won't.
I will transcribe what I am seeing.
Okay.
I sat alone watching TV at Dave and Marie's house. I couldn't stop thinking about my encounter with Iwirdard Cullen earlier that day. He was so beautiful and sexy with such amazing hair and eyes. I could hardly believe he had noticed someone like me. But I was angry at how he made me feel. How I burnt like crimson hot flame. When he touched me, and how he'd not listened to me when id told him to fring off, and how he dared to touch me at all when he had a GF anyways, even if she was a mean girl with an ugly heart and not what? But no matter how much I tried to hate him, I simply couldn't. Suddenly, the phone ranged.
Before I continue, can I make one comment here for writers listening to this? Beautiful is very easy to spell. Just imagine Jim Carrey in your head saying, "Have a beautiful day." You will never forget how to spell it. How I can tell she's never seen Bruce Almighty, because she keeps misspelling beautiful. Like the one word no one forgets how to spell because of that damn movie.
Yeah.
Alright. That's the popcorn.
I remember how to spell the word definitely because it got hammered into me by my 5th grade English teacher. But anywho, hello.
Hey, is that Atlantiana?
Altantia.
Altantia.
Altantiana?
Yeah, who's this?
I axed.
It's Mike Newton from your class. I was wondering if you're wanted to go to La Plush with me tomorrow night, maybe? There's a party on the beach with the whole crowd of us going, and I thought you seemed really nice. So, I thought maybe you'd want me and my date, please?
To me, my date. Also, there's a party in a tree!
It's a really big tree, man.
Aren't you the guy who hangs out with all the pathetic cheerleaders and stuff?
I asked. Oh, she spelled it right.
You mean...
She didn't spell cheer right.
Yeah?
Cheerleaders.
No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with cheerleaders.
Cheerleaders?
Yeah, they lead chairs.
The cheerleaders.
Oh, you mean Bella and Jessica's gang? Sometimes I guess, but they way shallow and not as hot as you, and they can be mean sometimes.
Even though
this
Mike
right here is when your character starts devolving into the Mary Sue territory.
Yeah, because especially since I distinctly remember Mike actually did like Jessica in the story.
Hey, chat.
Dinner?
There's a Gusty.
Oh, Gusty.
Fluffy Dogo. Super fluffo.
Aw, Dogo. But yeah, like, if you're going to make the main character still exist in the story, and you're the love rival for the main character, have your character interact with the main character.
Yeah.
Fucking Bella is like, has supernatural immunity to being mind read. That was like the whole reason Cullen was obsessed with her, is he couldn't read her mind. And it's like... Sorry, continue.
It's cool. I see a little case of the Department of Redundancy department in this sentence. Then why do you hang white with then, you shallow creep? I honestly had trouble reading that. Them then.
What? That blonde meme of the woman just going, what?
I'm just picturing what is it? Gary from the from Team America World Police. He's just what? Then why do you hang out them then you shallow creep? And why are you asking me out when you hardly know me, Mike? Cause you think I'm hot?
Yeah.
Why can't you? Why can't you see you're just as shallow if you want to date someone just cost of what they look like? I'm not that pretty anyways. And even if I was, I'm so screwed up in the brand you can't even imagine. I seriously need some more fiber in my diet, Mike.
Yeah, you're just gonna be holding my hand while I'm on the shitter for 3 hours. Do you really want to put yourself up with that?
Who would no want to date me if you knew how screwed up I was?
Honey, you're a
would,
teenager.
Tia. Believe me, I would. You're so beautiful, you can't even imagine. So, you're so pretty. People lose their minds when you're around and forget their names and forget to breath. How can you have noticed that? And I don't care how screwed up you are. I am super horny. It only makes you more interesting. You're cool and different. And you were honest about this stuff. Hey, how am I doing? Am I doing okay?
Doing great.
Okay. Oh, no, this is a real call, I promise. You're cool and different and honest about stuff. You were right to be angry with me. I'm sorry for being shallow, and dumb, and just give me a chance to show you how much I care, please.
Well, okay, maybe it'll go along if I don't have anything else to do.
I said, not believing a word he said about how pretty I was.
Thank you, Atlantiana. Atlantiana. Whoa, that name's deep.
Hang on. It's
thank
no,
you
it's
so
not
much.
Atlantia. It's Altania.
Altaniana.
Thank you so much, Altaniana. Alt-Antiana.
Alt-Antiana.
Yeah, Altantiana.
Yeah.
It looks like they were trying to mix Tatiana and Atalanta together, and then misspelled both.
Thank you.
He sounded so happy I couldn't help but smile as I put the phone down, but my smile faded as I returned to my thoughts. Mike Newton was kinda cute and seemed like an okay guy, but he was nothing next to Eudard Cullen. Even though I was angry with Edward that I had
Wow,
never...
she spelled his name right!
Oh, she didn't punctuate it, though.
Yeah, it's small e, but... even though I was angrier with Edward than I have ever been with anyone in my life, and part of me wanted to chop his head off with a saw.
What?
That sounds messy.
That sounds very unsanitary.
Affection, yeah. A part of my soul would always remain in that corridor where we had kissed so hard and passionately. He wasn't bad, he wasn't good, he was passionable. I creamed myself. My heart had soared that day like never before, and I knew that no one else would ever make me feel like that again. Then I thought how he was a cheater and a bastard, and my face burnt with shame. I couldn't believe I had behaved like such a whore. I was scared of the effect he had on me.
But, yeah, well...
He actually got that one word right.
Yeah, but, yeah, we'll be back on Thursday, okay? I know, that's Marie. Bye, I'm Marie now. I'm gonna see your mom and your day. It's cool.
Marie put her head round the door. She put her head rind the door suddenly.
Ew.
Head rind.
Then. Okay then, have fun.
I whispered clammily. Dave and Marie were visiting relatives for a few days.
Hang on.
You look so pretty!
She says, smiling.
You're the prettiest grill I've ever seen!
There's a penguin on the telly.
A penguin?
I forget what I was going to say now. Thank you, Monty.
Well, I also remember how we commented earlier that some people overdescribe appearances and then try to supplement it by having them have issues with their appearance. Professional writers do this too. It's not just new writers or fanfic writers, because a very famous sci-fi writer is extremely guilty of this, and it's why I can't read the Honor Harrington series anymore. David Weber. He cannot write women worth a damn.
They walked boobily down the stairs. Boobily.
So yeah, it's not, just criticism is, it's not just new writers who do this. If you do it, just figure out how much is enough and how much is not enough.
Great booby, honey bun.
You are very nice boobies, honey!
Gesundheit.
Thank you.
Gee, whatever.
I reply. I hated it when people say that. I pulled my blonde hair over my face. I was wearing a short, hot, pink dress cut low with black lace frills at the bottom and black lace stocking.
Only one. Only a
one
single stocking.
You know, if you're gonna describe clothing, there's an easy way to do it without it sounding so stilted like this. Just write the character changing into it and describing what they pull out of the closet. Simple solution for what they're doing, and it doesn't sound so stilted as saying, I was wearing. You could just say, I walked to my closet and quickly changed into. Thinking...
Dave, Brother Larry will be looking after you. We're gone. You'll be okay when we're gone, won't you, Tia?
Ow.
I hate leaving you alone like this.
I don't freaking need a babysitter, you know?
I used too little yeast.
I was so embarrassing.
Yes, you were.
I could look after myself.
Yes, you were embarrassing.
Marie smiles and leaves the house.
Boy, I'm never going back.
No, let me do this one.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
I was staring at this word for like 10 minutes.
Who wants to be Uncle Larry?
I'm doing this.
Okay.
I already said I'm doing this because I've been staring at this bad spelling here.
I can't wait to hear.
I gotta drink something because I'm gonna...
Yes, get a drink.
Greetings, Latani, my name's Uncle Larry.
Greetings, Latrine! My name is Uncle Larry!
He's got two names.
Greetings, little.
I don't know,
Said Uncle Larry.
I prefer Latrine. I don't know why. That if you squint at it, it kind of looks like Latrine. Latrina.
She has been changing the spelling of this name since the beginning of the story. She doesn't even know how her own character's name is spelled.
Said Uncle Larry. He came in and through the door he was fat. He what? He came in and through the door he was fat and bald with tiny black eyes and a red face.
Oh, I see the problem. We should be really impressed. Uncle Larry is actually a red panda.
He threw the door? Just threw
He's
the door.
taking it in the story by doing the shwee thing with his pinky.
Or maybe her uncle is actually is a tanuki. You know, like the Japanese raccoon dog.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Adds up to me.
Hey.
Turning red? Is that a computer thing?
No.
No, it's the new Pixar movie coming out next month.
Oh.
Hey.
That's.
I said.
Nice end of quotes there, girl.
Yeah.
You're the orphan, aren't you?
He says.
Is it true you killed...
No, she didn't kill his
Your
mother.
mom? Is it true you kyled your mother when she gave birth to you?
Gimme key!
What?
I cry, my eyes filling with tears.
No, I'm just confused.
Oh my God, I love this line. You're an evil bick, aren't you? Go outside and wash my car.
He shouts angrily.
I just imagine it's like, you're an evil buck, aren't you? Go compose me some classical music.
You're an evil bitch. You're a bitch. Evil
I
bitch.
stood up and left to wash his car. What? I got a soap and bucket, afraid of what he would do if I refused. I went outside and started to watch Hush's car. It was a red Porsche. He came outside and whacked me, and I knew he was watching me.
You just said he was watching you!
After a minute, he came over and hit me hard across the face.
Department of Redundancy Department here. What fuck the?
I shouted.
Well, yeah, that... what? What fuck the? Yeah, what fuck the?
He poured the bucket of water all over me and hit me again. Again, comma, period. I was wet and crying, and he started to rip my dress and bra off of me and rip my clothes. He touched my naked breeks. And I tried to push him off. I screamed at him to stop, but he didn't.
Yeah, this really should have been rated M.
He bent me over the bonnet of his car and spanked me on the ass for half an hour. Then he pulled my panties down and started to rape me.
Oh, God!
Christ. Jesus Christ.
I didn't realize they would need a content warning for this.
Yeah, no.
Holy cow.
Maz, why don't you do the speed run section for the rest of this, just so we can get done with this little,
Yeah,
content warning.
Yeah, give me a quick moment. This one? Yeah. Okay,
This
so...
is really explicit. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, if I didn't... for the record, even though I was the one who put this in the request, I did not read it myself, so I didn't know this was coming.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that the fact it's marked T when this is very... This isn't even M-rated now. This is E-rated. Explicit.
Not E. No, did you just say E?
Yeah, AO3 uses M, T, E, and, E stands for explicit, M stands
Oh,
for...
I see.
Explicit's basically used for when it's borderline porn.
This is...
Alright,
this fanfiction is rated N for no.
Alright, so the next paragraph is basically bog standard, somebody that doesn't understand sexual assault writing sexual assault.
Uh-huh.
Including commenting on how tiny his dick is.
Okay, and then God is apparently her dad.
A tall white man with no expression.
A tall white man with no expression.
well,
His eyes are burning
evangelical
red.
guy.
His face glimmered cold and bright as the moon. I fell back from the brightness of his body. His hair was dark as night. Atlantiana? Altantiana?
No,
He
it's
whispered.
they spelled it at Lantiana.
Atlantiana?
That's why I said she can't make up the spelling of her own damn name.
And then she goes OMG and passes out. And that's the end of Uncle Larry.
Well, yeah, it says Atalanta, and then my daughter, and then oh my god, and then pass out. Yeah, what the fuck?
Well, I said this was pornographic. No flames, please. There is no point. If you didn't like my story, didn't read it. It's as simple as that. By the way, Atlantiana is not Marisu because she looked like is not perfect, and not everyone in the styrie likes her. She has
Oh my God.
problems and she has flaws and she's unhappy. Would you like her life? I wouldn't. It's totally tragic and horrible. You flamers aren't even making sense.
Those
And
were words.
She should actually know if somebody isn't making sense one, because she knows her sense one.
Yeah, no, she's
To be
an
fair-
expert in no sensing.
To be fair, I
Before
would,
we read this out loud, why don't we do a quick skim to make sure we're not going to be surprised with more surprise sexual assault?
Yeah, good idea. I'm going to turn that off.
to be fair, I wouldn't want this character's life either.
Yeah, but here's the thing, is you can make your character have a tragic life, but, if you're just having them replace the main character, why include the main character? And second of all, you kind of have to have them interact with it. Third of all, you have to give a reason
Less
why
sense.
the dude who can read minds is interacting with her. Like,
Okay,
I know
yeah,
I'm
we have a bit more at the very end.
I'm gonna go check and see when dinner's ready.
Yeah. All right. So
smells ready.
while my dad goes to check on dinner, I'm gonna have a quick diatribe. So
Please.
they didn't have to do this.
Yeah.
It like what that event that just happened. It didn't mean anything. The reason why that happened was so that she would run into the woods and pass out. And that's it. And what's coming up next is out of fucking nowhere. It doesn't, and it's basically just okay. That scene's over. Anyway, my character gets sexually assaulted again. It basically exists to make the character's life look harder.
Here's my thing with, if you're writing a rape scene, you don't need to write out the rape scene. You
Yeah.
can imply it. You can imply. Like, because I have a starch rule of I don't write minors having sex.
Yeah. That's fair.
And the story I've told you guys about follows the Heavens Feel route of Fate Stay Night, which sadly has rape in it because it deals with a dude who uses basically sentient parasite dicks to control people, so it's gonna appear I don't have a choice in that matter.
Yeah.
I never directly stated if she ever was. I left implications that could both
My
be taken
golf.
as yes and no, because I didn't want to write out those scenes. I left hints, I left suggestions, I let the viewer use their imagination. That's why I have the tag implied sexual assault, implied rape, but I openly state, I'm not confirming one way or another if this happened, because I don't like the fact that I have to include this, because it's following this fucking route. But I'm not writing this shit out. You don't need to glorify fucking rape. You can just imply it.
Home.
Eat.
Eat and home. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, my dad was reminding me of sign language. And distant doggo. Alright, so I have verified the very last paragraph. It brings it up again. I will gloss over it once we get there.
Give me 1 sec to get more water, and then we're good.
Alright.
We're gonna actually finish this.
This
is so bad. There are thousands of English teachers who are spinning in their graves right now.
I know, isn't it
Yeah.
great?
There
do
are
this almost every week.
Oh God.
There
Who's
are there are 8 chapters in this, and if they're all as long as what we've been reading so far, we might be able
to get through
just-
this.
Is this who's Pink Moonwolf?
That's just someone that joins chat a lot.
Ah.
Yeah. Hi, Swift. They go by Swift.
Swift?
Swift.
Swift.
Swift. like the bird, even though she wolf girl. Well, wolf non-binary femme, but still.
Back.
Yeah.
Ugh. What's going on?
Ryan's going out to vomit.
I heard non-binary femme. That's why I was like, wait, what's going on?
We're talking about Swift.
But yeah, less is more when it comes to shit like that. Don't pornograph the scene. Don't. And if you can get away with doing the same thing without rape, don't do it. Wolf's right there. Like, it's like, if you're gonna do that, make sure that there's no other way around it. Please.
Yeah, just the touching would have gotten the point across.
But it's also like...
Yeah.
The fuck?
And Dad, this is a conversation we've had frequently. This conversation discussing rape being and sexual assault being used in fiction.
I now, to be fair to the author, this is no worse than any of the other bullshit that's come before, except it's more explicit. I mean, there's no story here. It's so horrible.
Yeah,
it exists to get across, like, the idea of a story.
It's got letters and words in it, but other than that, this isn't writing.
I mean, it's in the English language.
Sort of. It's more English than anything else.
To use the example I told you about earlier with the worm guy, what he does is he like embeds worms into your body to mind control you, basically puppets you from the inside. So that's why I couldn't get like around using them. But for something like this, she could have rewrote this a dozen different ways to awaken the god's power, but she has to write a porno scene about a one-off character. This is almost as bad as the one-off with the woman just miscarrying right in front of the guy in Reaper's Creek. Pointless.
Yeah, that was the thing. Well, it wasn't right in front of him. It's just, he was like, "Oh, your baby's dead." So, shall we continue?
Who's
I
she
suppose
trying to convince with the note at the top?
Herself.
Okay. Are we on?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Author's note: no flames, please. Author's... Go ahead.
Did we already read the author's note?
Yes.
No, we stopped.
Yeah, we did.
No.
We got to the word sense one.
Oh yeah, sense one. Then we stopped because I suggested we check the chapter to make sure we
Yeah.
didn't get more surprise rape.
Yeah, and now chapter 4, Le Pole.
Le push.
La
She's been
push.
sexually assaulted every chapter so far. What the fuck?
I sat quietly on La Push Beach, apart from the party that was going on beside me. Mike Newton was following me round like a pulpy, and he was so boring. You sure this is English?
Yeah.
Holby.
None of the things he had to say were interesting, but I was nice to him because he wasn't a bad guy. My thoughts were elsewhere. I couldn't stop thinking about the events of last night when Uncle Larry had raped me and I had had my scary vision in the forest and a tall pal guy in my mind had hailed me his daughter.
I thought that was my cursor on the screen for a moment.
I didn't understand any of it. I felt so awful that I had been wrapped by that hideous pervy sicko when I had been saving myself for the right guy and for marriage, and my virginity was torn from my grasp by that twisted guy. It was so cruel and unfair, it made me want to cry.
It really shows that this person has no real respect for sexual assault, given what they focus on for being the real loss. Like the real consequence is the character freaking out that they lost themselves.
Yeah, but they're into cooking, cruelé.
Yeah, and you know what, guy? You know what? We were wrong. She wasn't sexually assaulted. It was a rap battle. If I hadn't been rapped. He was rapping at her.
He was rapping.
Yeah. And she got sickly burned.
Are you sure this is not written by E.L. James? Because a few lines down, I'm seeing a line that looks almost exactly like what was in Master of the Universe, where what's-his-name was calling his mom the crack whore.
I'm reading the wrong books.
Or the right ones.
Yeah, you're reading intelligible, good, well-written material. Meanwhile, Eva's breaking our respect for the English literary language with this garbage. Oh god, this is awful.
Popcorn, that's you, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry, hold on. OMG, Mike, what are you talking to? What are you doing talking to her?
She's got a 1,000-watt smile, apparently.
I turned around and saw four nasty faces leering at us. Sort of leering at us. It was the cheerleaders I had seen in the cafeteria.
The cafeteria.
And one of them was the girl dating this person's a tongue twister. Ewardard Cullen, the brown hair rabbit girl who was standing at the back door looking moody but not saying anything.
Damn you, furries!
Ed's dating a furry!
You know, this would be 100 times better if Edward was dating a giant rabbit furry. Also, do you notice how much detail she goes into her appearance and Edward's, but no one else's? It's like...
Yeah, it's clear where their focus is.
Oh, wait a minute. So the OMG Mike Watt was actually supposed to be Jessica.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That was very, very not clear, thank you.
Yeah, the problem she had is she didn't, like, I've been practicing first person more lately, and she made the biggest screw up here. If you have text, and then yourself emoting, people assume that's you, the narrator, speaking. Move the emote down. Separate it from the box of words. You can just have the words hanging on by themselves.
Yeah.
Stop being mean, Jessica.
Mike said angrily.
Tia's awesome! And if you can't see that, it's just you being blind and shallow and stupid like you always are.
Like, you're always are. You're all of the ways. Ugh. Should I also be Jessica then, since I already read the first line?
Yeah, I mean, look at her.
Let me do this. I haven't read it, and I want to do something other than pervy uncle.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, look at her clothes. She looks like a stupid goth biatch with her slutty top and short skirt and bite nets, tights. Is she a rat hooker or what?
Damn you, furries!
She was really
that was
ugly.
The line I was looking at.
She was really ugly when she shouted, even though she was technology a hot chick and was dressed in skimpy pink clothes.
Oh, so Jessica is actually a robot.
Well, we're all
Yeah,
we're
all
biased.
Yeah.
Oh my god. No. Hey, Spaz, I know what Jessica is. She's an Appalisa.
Appalisa?
Wow, making me feel my age here. That was the computer before Macintosh that Apple gave all the school
gosh,
districts.
I remember that.
We used to play Oregon Trail on it. It was the first one that had keyboard and mouse.
My dad remembers that at least.
Yeah, I do. The Lisa was a money loser. The Macintosh replaced it.
Yeah, but like she's technology. She's a girl. She's an Appalisa. Like, let me have my old person joke.
No, you can have them with this other old person.
I'm feeling old. Now I'm gonna mail your Apple Lisa as a prank.
You know what, Jess? You and your friends are so shallow, and you are the real slut. You and Bella and Angela and Lauren may...
No, that's LaRuin.
Wait.
LaRuin.
Yeah. Bella and Angela and LaRuin may wear short skirts and low-cut tops and stuff, but that doesn't make you beautiful. It's what underneath that counts. They are robots. The what underneath counts, yeah.
Mike shouted.
Okay, two things. First of all, they spelled beautiful right for once.
Yeah?
And two, this feels like another sign of a Mary Sue fanfic. Bella, even though she hasn't officially shown up yet, sounds wildly out of character. She was not the cheerleader type.
No. This feels like someone that didn't watch the...
She wasn't. She was written by a Mormon.
I mean, she didn't really
sounds
have
like
much
someone that didn't read the book, didn't watch the movie, but was attached to the fan base.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, the whole thing here... I can't believe I'm harping on this because I fucking hate Twilight. But I know the first movie because I got dragged to the theaters about it, and I had most of the first book written to me because I was 16, and the only way we could go to the movie theaters to see a movie.
Okay. Yeah, we'll finish this chapter.
Okay.
Dinner's ready. We're going to finish this chapter and take a break.
Yeah, okay.
Edward's huge thing was he can't read Bella's mind. That was his huge fucking thing. Why is Edward attracted to her? Being hot isn't what he's attracted to. It's being a mystery which attracted him. The dude can read your fucking mind.
Yeah. All right, back to you, the sly blonde girl.
Yeah, different character. It's the LaRuin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, speaking of which...
A sly blonde girl in the gang who was called Lauren now, pointing at me.
What with her breasts are huge. I bet they are fake. She laughed and her friends all laughed too, even Bella and Angela, who have been quiet until then. And then everybody clapped. Why are you all looking at me?
I got up and pushed past them and ran into the darkness. I could hear them laughing at me, and I felt so embarrassed. I was relay sensitive about the waste I looked. I hated the fact that it made all girls hate me and all guys stare at me. I would have given anything to be ugly or just inviolable. I wasn't stuck up and didn't think I was beta than anyone else because of how I looked. I wanted people to treat me like a normal person. I couldn't help being slim and blonde with really big boobs.
No, relay big boobs.
Oh, I couldn't help being slim and blonde with relay big boobs. It wasn't my fault. I hadn't done anything wrong.
I was relay sensitive about the waist. My constipation problems are no joke.
She's also apparently a guy because blonde, for women, it has an E at the end. It's BOLND for guys.
I noticed
I
that
didn't
too.
know that.
Yeah,
that's why. Oh, you know what I just realized? Because of the way Lauren finished, her sentence, with just that, theoretically, all of that should have been read by me, and then "Are you okay?" was actually Lauren. Alright, so now it's a goth girl.
Are you okay?
Said someone from beside me.
Who are you?
I asked. 3 really pretty goth girls were standing there smiling at me, and I smiled back.
We are Tiffany, Abigail, and Rochelle.
They said, smiling.
You seem cool. You want to be our friends?
Friends.
Friends.
Yeah.
God damn it, my dyslexia is fixing her spelling.
God dang it. Yeah, of course, but I'm just a bit melancholy because those horrible cheerleaders were being mean jerks and saying my boobs were fake.
I said.
Oh my god. OMG, you mean Jessica and Bella's gang? They hate us too. We don't care what they think.
Said Tiffany.
Tyfanny.
Oh, Tiffany.
I like that.
Okay, is that jealous spelled properly or am I fixing it again?
No, I think that's actually
Yeah.
spelled correctly.
Yeah.
They are just jealous because you're, no apostrophe, the prettiest girl in school now. And they're all plain next to you, but we don't care about stuff like that. We only care about people's personalities.
Then why do you want to be my friend?
Cool.
I said, and we talked for hours.
But nothing important. Just random talking.
But then you talk to them for hours again.
I talked to Tiffany, Rochelle, and Abigail for hours, and they were so cool. I'd never had proper friends before who didn't care what I looked like or where I came from. They just liked me for me, and I liked them because they were uber cool and had loads of stuff in common. But after a while, we all went home, and I stayed on the beach. In tree.
I stayed in the tree.
It was getting late, but I didn't want to go home to Uncle Larry in case he raped me on his car again. Suddenly, I heard a voice from behind me.
Well, Tia, thou seems to be causing quite a stir at school.
His voice was smooth and sexoid from another time. Edward.
Garfield! It's an inside joke with the stream, Dad.
Oh. Okay.
Garfield.
Garfield is the all-American buff hero that saves the day and gets all the chicks.
Ah,
Yep. What do you mean?
I demanded.
Basically, every...
What?
Basically, every gay at school wants to have sex with thee, and every girl wants to eat thee alive for it. How's that for causing a stir, my lady?
He smiled and kissed my neck.
Not understanding what gay means.
Lady.
So she's so pretty that gay guys will turn straight.
Yeah?
No. Let's be fair. She just attracted all the lesbians, and they're fighting the straight guys right now.
I like that theory better. Shut up, jerk! By the way, I met your girlfriend before. Bella, I think her name is. I don't like her or anything, but how the hell can you cheat on her like that and kiss me how you did? It's sick. You're a cheating bastard, and I should tell everyone. Fanny told me you and Bella are like the school's golden couple or something. What would happen if I told people how you acted in that corridor with me?
OMG, sweet lady, thou must not tell anyone!
He screamed.
Foaming at the mouth.
It was a moment of madness, that's all. I'm so sorry for what happened. I hope thine can forgive me. But I've promised myself to Bella, and that's just how it is, no matter how much that interests me.
Fine, then stay away from me.
I shouted as I left to go home, but he followed me and grabbed me and pushed me down on the grind.
On the grind.
I was burning with anger and fury, but I wanted him so deftly, I didn't even try to resist him. He knew how much I wanted him, and it drove me mad. He put his hands inside my panties, and I gasped. I was suddenly desperate to have sex with him, and I tore my clothes off, and I was in my underwear. I took off my bra and showed him my naked, heaving breasts.
Okay, I think this is the point where we stop.
No, it's a bit farther.
Have sex with me now, Edward.
I whispered.
I can't.
He said, although his body was on top of mine and his fingers touched my nipples.
Please, I'm begging you.
I said, hating myself for being such a dirty whore, but unable to control my burning desire.
No! Wait, do you have the Darth Vader?
He shouted and ran away crying.
Alright, and now... Boop. So she's embarrassed, can hardly move, gets her clothes back on. She feels really bad that she gave in to her lust again. She goes home, Uncle Larry makes her cook dinner and do things while he eats, and then he does more things, and hits her with a shoe.
Weren't the
And then
parents just...
Oh, that's fucked up. And she didn't complain because she felt like she deserved it for being such a horrible slut.
I don't think this is parentally approved.
No.
No,
I want to
also, what happened to the foster parents? I thought they were gone for a night. I didn't expect them to be gone for, like, multiple days.
Alright, Dad, are you good to keep going after dinner?
No, that's
Yeah. If you want to stop, I really don't blame you.
Yeah.
Alright. This is... So, that's where we're going to end tonight. I want to thank everyone for coming out. I'd like to thank Dad for suffering with me. You seem to enjoy yourself.
This is really bizarre. It was so hard not to correct the English.
This isn't even the worst thing we've read.
Oh,
No,
God.
that would be Reaper's Creek.
No, the worst thing we read was Stones to Abigail. That one was so bad that we yeeted out of the book. We stopped reading.
Yeah, well, I just was going to say that and everything that author wrote.
Yeah. So, I want to thank everyone. Yeah, thanks for coming out, everyone.
Thank you for letting me play in your sandbox.
Thank you for Popcorn and Forbiden for coming out tonight.
I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
Let me swap to there. So before we go real quick, there's a doggo. Behold the doggo.
Hi, Doggo.
Before we
Soothing
go, we should
doggo.
do the normal, what would we fix? Get a
All right, yeah.
translator.
You know what? Yeah. So what would we besides not writing this, how would we improve this? And also besides not having the sexual assault.
Get an
Where to
editor.
start?
Ugh.
Get an editor and get a person who will read this and critically analyze you until you know describe more of this, describe less of this.
A consistent picture of what you're trying to describe.
Yeah, tone it down a little bit. If getting rid of it completely is not an option, then just allude to it. That's all we need.
Also, if she's God's daughter, why is she attracting so many people?
Well, we don't know. I don't know if it's God. It's just the way it was described. It was basically basically God.
It's going to be
But
a
here's
super
the thing
vampire.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, unless she's a succubus, she's not going to be radiating sexual pheromones that are going to want to make people fuck her and rape her constantly.
My guess is that she's a Damphir.
A what?
But if she's
Half
a damn
vampire.
fear, what does it have to do with an 8-sided star on her hand? That's not a pentagram.
Seven-sided. That's also not a pentagram.
Okay. I'm hungry. Dinner's ready, so I'm gonna go do that. Everyone, thanks for coming out tonight.
And
Good night, everybody.
as we'll explain to you what a damn fear is while you eat.
Bye.